Welcome to the Does This Happen to You podcast, where we explore the funny side of truth is stranger than fiction stories. Our story this week is from the book Stripped Down, A Naked Memoir by Stacy Keith. Check it out on Amazon.com. Legs crossed, I idly leaf through people, half wishing I never left the men's club. Roxanne is insane. I begin to understand her need for amphetamines. If she's working all day and half the night, when does she sleep? A knock at the door. I scramble to rearrange myself. My heart kicks into high gear. Sure enough, it's Lou, wearing jeans and a black t-shirt, two items of male apparel that humidify my panties. If I wore any. Hey there. His eyes never leave my face. I came to see if there's anything you need. Even if saliva hadn't pooled in my mouth, I wouldn't have trusted myself to speak. There are things on me tingling that haven't had any blood flow for months. Without even meaning to, I recross my legs. His mouth drops open. Could someone bring me a fucking razor? Roxanne examines the broken handle of a pink plastic razor before tossing it aside. And maybe a beer? Do you want one? He asks me. Oh no, I say. I don't drink. He looks pleased. Neither do I. My sensei won't let me. I get it. A martial artist. His devotion to a sensei makes him seem kinda dorky, but I'm so beyond giving a shit. Today? Roxanne snaps. Lou ducks out. I continue to thumb through what has got to be the most insipid magazine on the planet. Lou shows up with a razor and a sweating long neck. Roxanne is barely gracious, shooing him out so she can get ready. A big dressing table, flanked by frosted theater bulbs, dominates the farthest wall. Beside it is a mirror and a rusty sink. Without a moment's self-consciousness, Roxanne sheds the tracksuit, kicks off a lavender thong, and then perches, knees spread, on the edge of the sink. Shaking a can of shaving cream, she applies a white stripe to one furry lip of her vagina, then the other. I'm staring at the thing, and it looks like Santa Claus, only with a big red mouth like somebody punched him. I drag my attention back to an article about celebrity handbags, big ones that cost what I'm making this week. And hell, my salary is a screw job considering what I have to put up with to earn it. She's over there humming and shaving. I can actually hear the scritch of razor on stubborn follicles, and I think, a whole week of this plus Ed? Unable to take a second more of Roxanne's deforestation, I wander out to the floor. The club isn't open yet, but some of the dancers are hanging around looking bored. I slide onto a bar stool, order a Diet Coke. Lou is nowhere in sight. You are so pretty, a soft voice says behind me. I turn to see a dark-haired waif with a diamond stud in her nose. She wears it well. I can't tell if she's being friendly or trying to disarm me before sticking in the knife. How long have you been a feature? She asks. Automatically, I start making up a pedigree, but decide to come clean. This is my first gig. Are you an actress? An actress? She doesn't mean porn, does she? I'm just here to open for Trinity. How about you? This a decent place to work? Oh, sure, she says. We get treated well. Lots of big tips. Management too? I hope she can't tell where I'm headed with this. Jerry's a hard-on, but Lou's great. Have you met him? Tall guy, dark hair, cute. You aren't kidding. All the girls are in love with him. Shit. If he's involved, I've got to strike him off the playbook. No guys who are married. No guys on the rebound. No guys who owe child support. Which doesn't leave a girl with a lot of options. Most guys, usually the smart, unfucked up ones, are reluctant to date you because you're a stripper. Not every man is wild about sharing the woman he loves with a roomful of horny strangers. This is why strippers tend to date male strippers, steroid-addled bodybuilders, trust fund drunks, drug dealers, or sometimes another girl at the club. It's a lonely business, and a weird one, especially when you've got 100 guys dying to get with you, yet you always seem to go home alone. I chase the ice around in my Diet Coke. Your boss, what's his name, Lou? Does his girlfriend mind him working here? Oh, Lou isn't dating so far as I know. No one here at least. Club rules. Hell yeah. Thanks for the heads up. She shrugs, gives me a shy, pretty smile. You know, a couple of girls wanted to get their biker boyfriends to kick your and Trinity's asses out in the parking lot. They've done that to a few of the other girls. Not features, but one girl's still on crutches. Are you serious? Yeah, but hey, don't worry. They may have changed their minds. In the darkness off stage, I wait. I'm struck by how surreal life can be. Me in Clearwater, Florida, wearing a wedding dress I'd picked up on the cheap. Feature acts are themed, you see. On the 4th of July, Roxanne tells me, she tapes sparklers to her nipples and sets them on fire. What am I even doing here? Elsewhere, an old woman in a trailer peels back the foil on her TV dinner and shares it with her 15 cats. Elsewhere, a girl trembles in fear beside her bridegroom, years older than she. Elsewhere, a child fights against the women hired to hold her during a ritual circumcision. And here I am, patting myself to make sure everything's accounted for. G-string, check. Garters, check. Boobs, check. The difference being, of course, that I signed up for this paid form of self-mutilation. Why? It occurs to me, in a way that I struggled to articulate, that despite all my talk about money, I might want love. Soundbite love. Love by hologram. I don't want to risk any part of myself to get it. I want it manicured and manageable, wrapped in neat little packages. Free gifts with purchase. Love, but at a safe, comfortable distance. Real love hurts. I know. I already tried that a year ago, and it plunged its taloned fist into my stomach, yanked out the steaming viscera, and then shoved them in its mouth. Lou isn't about love. He's so much better than that. He brings the sex drug in its purest form. No payment necessary, no questions asked. 100 times today I've closed my eyes and pretended my hands were sliding over the smooth, hard muscles of his butt. I hotly imagine the moment he first enters me, and my back arches no matter how ready I am for him. I can almost feel the first faint tremors of orgasm and thrill to the hot, wet licks of his chest on mine as he moves. In the darkness offstage, I wait. It's almost time. For the first time since I started in the business, I'm dancing for one man, one purpose. It feels weird, not vamping for money. Now I could care less. I'm glad that I remembered to wear my most decadent thong, black sequins that sit high on the hips and plunge into a low V. With my blonde hair, the impression is one of angel gone bad. I know this and will play it like an ace. The music starts, Madonna anthem, Like a Virgin, which appeals to my taste for the absurd. 100 men sit in the audience. I can see them through my veil, which I use as another layer of tease. The wedding dress is a bitch to dance in, akin to flailing for leverage in a box of Kleenex. After 5 minutes, I give up, lie back on stage, and play with my garters. I know Lou is watching. I can feel the dark, savage kick of him wanting me. I'm still too young to realize that the desire of men is rarely personal. I sink into what is becoming my signature move, the straddle split. I do it with my back to the audience, peeking in coy invitation over my shoulder. My ambition to be a ballet dancer may have been thwarted by the shocking developments of puberty, but I'm still just as flexible, which I now use to slow and deliberate effect. I can't wait to take off this big white doily, but it's hard to make undoing a back zipper look sexy. I struggle with it a bit, smile, then decide to let one of the front row yahoos help me out. With his sweaty hands on my shoulder blades, the guy parts the dress. I let it fall. In the grinding hunger of strip bars, men don't usually applaud when you get naked, but tonight the place goes wild. I know it's because I'm no longer just a stripper, but a woman with all her maddening paradoxes. Child, vixen, goddess, whore. Moments like these are rare and magical, especially in seedy bars. I've never attempted the stripper pole, but fearlessly I shinny up the thing, wrap one leg around it, then arch back, my hair brushing the floor. My boobs hang over my face, but it doesn't seem to be a turn-off. I dismount with a flying spin kick, and all of a sudden the stage is a hurricane of money, men just throwing it at me. I catch a glimpse of Lou standing in the back of the room, arms crossed, with a slightly amused expression. My victory is not lost on him. But is he fascinated or repelled? Still buzzed, I exit the stage amid war whoops and wolf whistles. I feel vindicated somehow, but not beautiful. Perhaps beautiful requires a sense of being truly seen and not just looked at. And here, I discover, is the ultimate spoof. You are never seen. You could stand naked on a stage, blazing with lights, and know that. In a way, as much as you relish the applause, you don't buy it. The applause isn't for you. It's for your persona. You hate the applauders for being taken in by such a paltry device. You despise them for their blindness, for their willingness to accept, like I do, the tawdry substitute. Then you hate yourself for trying to sell it to them. Roxanne waits for me off stage. Her smile is tighter even than the French maid get-up that fit her 20 pounds ago. She's got a list of complaints. The lighting sucks, the stage buckles, the dressing room's too small. I recognize this for what it is, a nervous champ going into the ring after a long hiatus. Knock them on their ass, I tell her, after pulling on the wedding dress so I'm not parading naked through the club. I hustle to the dressing room. The hallway reeks of Aquanet hairspray and an undernote of Jordache musk for women, a combination that reminds me of my junior prom, the one I went to with Russell, a lovesick boy whose very sweetness made me feel, even then, like a depraved harlot. I duck inside and shut the door only to hear it open again. When I turn around, it's Lou. He says nothing, but his eyes meet mine with unmistakable intent. I can't breathe. His masculinity gobbles up all the oxygen in the room. He propels me to the couch, slowly drags off the thong, then kneels in front of me, one thigh at a time, like he's donning flesh epaulettes. He shoulders my legs, and I know that the minute he touches me, I'm going to betray my terrible need and loneliness by coming all at once. No finesse, no mystery, just instant combustion. So I try to wriggle away, only he holds me, finds me where I live, and I surrender to the pleasure of him over and over, not even ashamed after a while, but surprised when he comes to, without my even touching him. I lay back delirious on a frothy bed of crinolines. He's got an enormous wet spot. Then, without knocking, Ed Cox barrels into the room. My thighs snap shut like a change purse. Lou jerks back, scrambling up on the couch like maybe we're just chatting, and anyone who thinks otherwise might be accused of crazy talk. A long, tense moment of silence makes my stomach do a flip-flop, and I realize Ed's going to bow up on Lou because he thinks Lou's stupping one of his bitches. But what Ed is obviously too stupid to realize is that Lou could drop him like a bad transmission. Quickly I say, "Ed, this is Lou. He manages the club. My, you're here early." Ed dials his smile up about 10 notches, just short of erasing the supremely pissed-off look in his eyes. He offers his lawyer's handshake. I'm almost certain it's the one he gives opposing counsel before bending them over. "Good to meet you, Lou," Ed says. "Great club. Trinity's used to, a bigger venue, but she seems happy. Gotta keep the ladies happy, right?" Big back slap, which on Lou sounds like an elephant hitting the floor. "You know, Ed," I say pleasantly, "as a general rule, when a door is closed, it's good policy to knock first." "No shit! But then I didn't know your boy Lou here was doctoring the rug." He gives Lou a conspiratorial wink. "You fly in or drive in, Ed?" Lou asks, taking Ed's measure. "Flew in. Had to finish a case that went to trial." "Gosh," I say sweetly, "that wasn't the one where you screwed over the old lady with the faulty wheelchair, was it?" Ed gives Lou another look, this one implying, "Boy, ain't she a live wire." "Better watch that bleeding heart of hers, Lou. Before you know it, she'll be spending your paycheck on welfare mothers and winos and shit." The door whams open, nearly embedding itself in the cheap paneling. Roxanne makes her entrance. She's sweaty and agitated, but when she sees Ed, she gurgles, "Baby," runs over and shoves her tongue in his mouth. I whip my gaze to the floor, to the exit sign, to my bitten cuticles. I'm so grossed out I want to vomit, but at the same time I'm painfully aware of my own bad conduct. I don't dare look Lou in the eye. Roxanne flashes me a triumphant, "See, I've got a man too" look, and snaps, "Why aren't you dressed? We're supposed to do fucking Polaroids already." She shoos both men out of the dressing room, tetchy, I've discovered, about guys watching her put her clothes on. I slip into a gold lame cocktail gown, feeling relaxed and happy, alive in a way that I haven't been in months. The mirror reflects back a softer version of myself, and all at once I wish we had more than a week here. At the same time, I'm glad that I don't have to make any commitments. I hate commitment. Also shopping. This has always made me feel less than feminine. Most women I know want marriage and stability. I'm always angling for the door. I follow Roxanne to a corner of the main room where, to my amazement, I see rows of what look like Catholic confessionals or instant photo booths, each outfitted with a threadbare velvet curtain. Feet are visible beneath. One booth stands vacant, the curtain drawn back to reveal hand lotion, a box of Kleenex, and a glass window. Behind the window, a bored-looking young woman sits naked, legs spread, smoking a cigarette. In a furious undertone, I mutter to Roxanne, "What the hell is that?" She stares incuriously at the booze. "A peep show, Goldilocks. What do you think it is?" "You didn't tell me the club had peep shows." "What's the big deal?" "Oh, do they offend you?" She watches me with a gleam in her eyes. All at once, I get the play. Drag the new girl to Florida, get her to diddle her kitty in a peep show booth, and then take half the proceeds. I snatch Roxanne by the arm. "I'm not doing that." "Suit yourself. I told you I don't do shit like that. You knew it before we came down here." "Jesus, okay. You don't have to go all Mother Teresa on me." "Oh, and by the way, don't think for 1 minute that I'll accept a penny less than what we agreed to." She hesitates just long enough for me to know that was exactly what she'd planned to do. The men who wait to buy Polaroids nudge one another and whisper. They're probably hoping we'll turn this into a full-blown bitch fight, complete with oiled mat. Ed is over there too, pretending he doesn't see us while shoving film in a camera. That stupid grin won't leave his face, never leaves his face. They're going to bury him with the grin propped up by 2 gold-plated toothpicks. Okay, she says, but Ed isn't going to like it. Ed can go fuck a pony. She surprises me by laughing. What makes you think he hasn't? For the next hour we pose for Polaroids, and due to some comical Florida morality law, we can't pose topless, unlike what we did on stage, because that apparently would constitute porn. The men are mostly sweet and funny and a little shy. I notice they're a different sort than the ones who trudge past us and glance furtively over their shoulders before edging into a booth. Sometimes I can hear those men in their booths, voices tight, muttering some variation of, "Yeah, baby, that's right, now stick it in your hole." This whole place is a sex addict's paradise. I'm caught in it too, bewildered and lost. Several times Lou drops by and my face flushes. As I stare at his hard, gorgeous body, I wonder, on a purely chemical level, how is what we're going to do any different than what's going on in those booths? Am I morally superior somehow just because I don't ask him to swipe my ass with a credit card? Whether we pay for it or give it on barter, we're all looking for the same drug. I feel so confused. The room is hot, and the music pounds my brain with cluster bombs of bass notes. Roxanne's miffed now because some hayseed looked at my chest, looked at hers, and then blared at her. "God damn, how come yours ain't like that?" Lou comes back with a Diet Coke and a tender smile. In full view of everyone, he leans close. He smells intoxicatingly male. His breath tickles my ear and makes me shiver. "I can still taste you," he whispers. "Every man in this place would die for a taste of you. All I got to do is lick my lips." Back at the motel, I run water in the tub so I can't hear what's going on outside the bathroom door. 2 hours until Lou's off work. 2 hours until he picks me up. Another 2 hours of having to listen to Roxanne hoover up line after line of coke. I can still hear the manic tap, tap, tap of Ed's credit card, the long, wet snort, the mirthless laughter. It's a soundtrack that turns my stomach. Ed likes to drink, so there's the accompanying ping of Captain Morgan on water glass, and then after a while, just the bottle itself glugging. Roxanne knocks on the bathroom door and says in a light musical voice I don't recognize, "Come join us." That's all right. "What are you afraid of?" "The dark, a tax audit, you." "Look," she says, "we're done bartering. It's okay. Come out, will ya? Ed's got to pee." I don't want to leave my bath, but I sure as hell don't want to see Ed pee. Drying off, I think about what I'm going to wear to Lou's apartment. I wonder if he's got condoms that fit. Hefty bags, maybe. Wrapping myself in my fuzzy pink bathrobe, I emerge from the steamy bathroom and almost trip over Ed's stupid leather briefcase and big shiny shoes. I turn the corner, then stop dead in my tracks. Roxanne's naked on the bed, ringed by every light in the room. A tripod camcorder stands to one side, Ed with an obnoxious-looking erection on the other. He grins at me, drink in hand, his eyes as flat and dead as playing cards. Roxanne gives me an inviting smile. "I know better than to ask you if you've ever been with a woman," Roxanne purrs, "which is totally hot. Ed wants to make a videotape of you and me, together." Words jam in my throat, angry words, and I can't get them out. My best friend, Betts, had warned me this would happen. Now here it is, the moment I'd been dreading. with its pendulous boobs and sad shaved pussy that looks like a punching bag. Cue Ed, the disgusting boyfriend, plus a huge bull-necked dildo, obviously intended for me, and I can feel the bile rise. Right then, I finally realized that I've been arrogant and stupid. Ed and Roxanne lured me down to Florida to relaunch her porn career. She'd said it herself. Why strip when you can make more money fucking? They'd planned to deflower the newbie, initiate her into three-way sex, and then sell the proceeds. Silly me. I thought the whole thing was just a feature tour. You sick fucks, I say. You don't think she's hot? With the same hand holding the drink, Ed gestures towards Roxanne, who lets her knees fall open. Like I haven't already seen enough of that thing. No, Ed, I don't. Would you like it if I asked Lou to screw you in the ass? Ed shrugs, grins. Don't know. Maybe if I was drunk enough. I grab an outfit out of my suitcase, glaring at both of them while I put it on. No way am I going to hide in the bathroom to get dressed. They might corner me, and it's important that I maintain clear access to the door. You're so close-minded, Roxanne says. You let a guy eat your pussy, but not a woman? What's the diff? I find my shoes, hopping up and down to put them on. I'm sorry to say this, she says, but I don't see how we're going to be able to pay your expenses back to Texas unless you're willing to help us out here. Expenses? I can't believe I'm hearing this. You drove me in that shit-hook car of yours. She shrugs. It's not like we're asking you to blow a donkey or something. I stare pointedly at Ed's erection. He's hardly that. Come on, honey. 30 minutes tops. I'll get you warmed up for your date. I can't believe she's serious. Do I look like I might just giggle and say, oh, all right, and then hop into bed with that rancid beast? Although her nostrils are red from snorting coke, her eyes seem perfectly clear, gleaming, and mercenary. I didn't want to get your hopes up, she says, but we could sell this thing. You're so pretty, and a fresh face is worth money. How does $5,000 up front sound? All you have to do is let me go down on you while Ed fucks me from behind. Maybe I'm high too and don't know it, because surely I'm hallucinating this whole thing. Ed, Roxanne, the lamps, the coke, the camera. I wonder what I'll do, stuck in Florida with no car and no plane ticket home. Grabbing my purse, I hightail it out of the room, slam the door, and then rattle down the stairs. The night manager, a balding Pakistani who looks even glummer than I do, calls a taxi. I wait nervously, prepared to bolt if either Ed or Roxanne shows up. I'm going back to the club to see if Lou can help me. What if he won't? What if he, like so many other people in my life, lets me down at the very moment I actually need his protection? Thanks for listening. I'm Chris Kepler, and I hope you enjoyed listening to these stories as much as I enjoyed narrating them. I'd love for more people to hear these wonderful stories, so please share and tell your friends.